What would you do if a wild animal attacked you, your pet, or your family? It went into attack mode and charged down the stairs. And I'm pretty sure I heard it screaming, but now that I think about it, it could have been me screaming.
A Bankers Hill dog owner recounting the scary moments a raccoon charged at her and her dog. Thank you for joining us on this Monday evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt. The ordeal left both of them bitten. As ABC 10 News reporter Michael Chen found out, the dog owner is one of several San Diegans bitten by raccoons in the past months.
Right on the joint, right across here.
8 days later, reminders linger on Jessica Karnowski's hand.
Claw marks here, he had claw marks here.
And the body of her 6-year-old dog, Sunny, of a dog walk turned nightmare. 2 Sundays ago, around 8 p.m. outside her apartment complex in Bankers Hill, as she walked 3 relatives to their car.
Dragging me over this way. Come on. He stops here, looks up the steps.
Jessica came face to face with a large raccoon at the top of the stairs leading to the apartment complex patio.
When you looked at it, what did you see?
It was arching its back at us and hissing. It went into attack mode and charged down the stairs. And I'm pretty sure I heard it screaming, but now that I think about it, it could have been me screaming.
Karnowski says the raccoon lunged at her dog.
I kicked it, and then I went to grab my dog, and that's when it bit my hand.
At one point, Karnowski fell down. Her 14-year-old cousin tried hitting the raccoon with a bag of clothes.
For the next minute or so, a showdown in this courtyard. Her family members continuing to swipe at it with bags of clothes. The raccoon still on the attack.
Kept lunging at us over and over again.
Finally, the raccoon ran off, leaving Sunny with a body full of claw marks and bites. Thankfully, most of them superficial. Karnowski.
So I probably got about 30 shots, and they go deep into the bone.
Enduring painful rabies shots at 2 hospitals. Staffers at each telling her they've seen 3 or 4 raccoon bites in the past month. Experts say raccoons can become aggressive if they are cornered or protecting food or babies. Humane Society officers did search the area, but found nothing.
This was traumatizing.
It was very traumatizing.
What do you want to tell folks?
If you see a raccoon, go the other way.
Michael Chen, ABC 10 News.
I faced that terrifying reality recently, and the aftermath taught me more about trauma than I ever knew. My name is Jessica Karnowski. I am a holistic health practitioner that specializes in body work, located in San Diego, California, and I teach stress management online to an international audience. I have the most amazing little dog. Let me pick him up. I have the most amazing little dog named Sunny. He is always happy and friendly and loves everybody. So about 3 weeks ago, Sunny and I were attacked by a very angry raccoon. People keep asking me what exactly happened. So I decided to create this video to tell the details of what happened with the attack and to also spread knowledge about trauma and how to cope with it using holistic health and neuroscience. I would also like to share what I know about trauma and what to expect after a traumatic event so that you have better skills whenever something crazy like this happens to you too. Let me set the story for what happened. I had the most amazing 2 weeks of my life before this event happened. I work in the music industry providing massage therapy and stress management to musicians and their crew. And I had worked with some amazing artists previous to this event. I had worked with Nora Jones, the Foo Fighters 3 times, once in San Diego and twice in LA, and also Luke Bryan. Within those 2 weeks was also my birthday and my 25-year business anniversary. So I was incredibly busy celebrating, working, living my best life. So let me set the premise for the day of the raccoon attack. My cousin's kids, Jada's 14, Jalissa is 10. I've been trying to get together with them all summer long, but before I knew it, the summer was past. So that Sunday, I was exhausted, so tired. And I called the girls and said, well, would you like to come over to my house and we could just have a lazy day together? We can watch movies, we can eat food, we could take Sunny to the park, we could have a really good time, just relaxing. And of course, they wanted to do that. So I went to pick up the girls. We went and got In-N-Out burgers, came back to my place. We started watching Mean Girls, and then we decided to take Sunny to the park. We had a lovely walk, just giggling and laughing and talking about life in general. We come back to my place, we have dinner, and then their grandma comes to pick them up. I feed her dinner. So by this time, they're about getting ready to go. It's 8 o'clock in the evening, and we all walk downstairs to walk them to their car. Sunny usually goes out to my parking lot patio to go potty. And when he went out there, he went to the left to go potty. And then suddenly he went to the right where the stairs are. And these are stairs that go up to our community barbecue patio area. At the top of the stairs was this gigantic raccoon. This raccoon was so big, it took up the entire point of view of the stairs. So I called Sunny back to me, and when he turned, the raccoon charged at us, came running down the stairs, full bore, angry. I think it was screaming, but I don't know. It could have been me screaming. So I go to kick it. When I kick it, Sunny gets away, and the raccoon turns and bites my hand. So Sunny gets away from the raccoon after I kick it, and it bites this direction, this thumb joint. So after it bites me, I fall on the floor. And this part, I don't even remember with all the trauma that was happening. I'm on the floor. Jada, my 14-year-old cousin, is behind me, and she has a grocery bag filled with clothes because one part of the girls coming over was that I cleaned out my closets. So that was another fun part of our day, was looking at clothes all day. The raccoon starts coming towards me when I'm on the floor, and Jada runs at it and starts smacking it with the bag. The raccoon turns and starts to launch itself at her when Sunny sees this and runs at the raccoon and starts to attack it again. At this point, my Tia, who's in her 70s, has a purse, like a big purse filled with whatever it is that elderly ladies put in their bags, like, bricks and snacks and whatever else it is that they carry around. She also has a grocery bag filled with food that I had cleaned out of my fridge that I knew I wasn't going to eat because I was going to be working. She goes after the raccoon with her purse and the bag and is kicking it. And at that point was when I remember grabbing Sunny and picking him up. And then the 10-year-old comes, and her bag had books in it. And since the raccoon was attacking her grandma, Jalissa took her bag and started smacking the raccoon with it. And the raccoon went after her. And then my Tia went after the raccoon one more time. And that was finally when the critter ran away. It was absolutely horrifying and traumatizing how much this raccoon kept chasing us, because it wasn't just a one-time thing of it, well, usually when you see a raccoon, they look at you, they stop, and then they go away. They go the other way, right? But the way this one attacked us was insane because it kept charging. It kept turning around. It would go like 5-6 feet away and then turn around and run for another one of us. So all 4 humans were fighting this raccoon and trying to get it to get away from us. And it kept attacking and attacking. It was horrifying. So we're screaming, and I knew immediately that I had to go to the ER and Sunny had to go to the ER. So I also knew that I couldn't drive because my hand was a mess and I couldn't hold Sunny while driving. And I knew that the girls had to go home to go to bed because it was a Sunday night and they just started school. I believe it was their second week of school. So we all go back up to my apartment, and I am talking to the girls, trying to assess the damage that's done, make sure that they didn't get scratched or bit, and they didn't. They were just scared, and they were so brave too. They were so brave, so brave. And my Tia, she had a very slight scratch on her leg that she got looked at, and it was okay. It was very superficial, nothing wrong with her leg. So I am trying to figure out who to call. Now, Jada decides to call her Tia, her aunt, who is my cousin, Jeanette. And Jeanette was available to come straight to my apartment. I tried calling some friends, And one of the friends I called was my neighbor, and nobody answered. And then I realized, wait a second, my sister and brother-in-law, they're wildlife biologists. They know first aid. They can help me. So I call my brother-in-law, and Jada calls my sister. So my sister and brother-in-law are on the phone with me and Jada, and they're walking us through what to do. So the first thing they recommended was to rinse off my hand and to figure out where Sunny was cut. So I'm in the bathtub with Sunny, trying to assess whose blood was whose, how badly he's injured, trying to palpate his body, make sure nothing's broken. And from what I could tell, my hand was superficially scratched and bit, and he also appeared to be superficially scratched and bit. But I'm not a professional. I knew both of us had to get to the ER. So I had handed my phone to Jalissa, and Jalissa's talking to my brother-in-law, and they're walking us through what to do. And these girls are bringing me everything I need. They brought me a washcloth so that I could try and wipe off Sunny to see what had happened. So finally, my neighbor, Paulina, calls me back, and she lives right where the attack had happened. She's on the first floor. I'm on the second floor. And she said she heard the screaming and that she would come over right away. At that point, my cousin Jeanette showed up too. And I was in such a traumatic state that I knew what I needed to do, but I didn't know how to do it. I couldn't figure out the details. So I said to Jeanette and Paulina, I was like, I need to go to the ER immediately. Sunny needs to go to the ER immediately, but I can't figure out how to do it and how to drive. And the girls need to go home and go to bed. So that meant my Tia couldn't go like take us, because those girls needed to go home and go to bed. They weren't scratched. It was a school night. So Jeanette and Paulina took over, and Paulina said, I will take Sunny to the ER vet. And she even had the wherewithal to call ahead, which was not something I thought of. And then Jeanette took me to the ER. So by this time, it was about 9 o'clock. So only an hour had passed with all the trauma and everything like that. So here's the point where I want to show you the injuries that we had. So take a moment to reflect upon how you feel to see blood, how you feel to see injuries on a person and on Sunny, because I want to show you the pictures of the injuries that we both sustained that night. But I don't want you to feel grossed out. If you feel like it's going to stress you out, if you feel like it's going to make you feel nauseous, if you're an empathic and sympathetic person, then I'm going to encourage you to close your eyes while you're looking at these pictures, and then I'll let you know when to open them again. Protect yourself, protect your peace. You don't have to look at these pictures if you don't want to. Okay, so here's where you should close your eyes. So here's the picture of Sunny's injuries. You can vividly see where there are raccoon scratch marks. I can't tell what are bites, but I'm guessing that on his little haunch, like his rear hip, is a bite. And that's the one that needed stitches. And then also his front left paw was really tore up, and that one needed stitches too. And then here we have my hand, and you could tell that the raccoon bit my thumb joint. And also, I believe I got scratched as well based off of the pattern of the injury. And it hurt so bad. Okay, so if you've had your eyes closed, now you can open them because the pictures are gone. So meanwhile, while I'm at the ER, Sunny is at the ER, and he's good. He doesn't have any internal damage. He doesn't have any broken bones. He has 2 points that need stitches. He was happy. He was a good boy, and he's doing well. So we both wrap up at the ER about 2 a.m. And Paulina's at my place with Sunny, and we were just venting about the whole experience. They're asking me all the questions. When was the last time I had a tetanus shot? Have I ever had rabies shots? Which I hadn't. And I decided to go ahead and get the tetanus, because at that point I couldn't remember, but I asked, is it going to bother me if I've had it before? And they said, no. And I said, okay, do it again. So when you get a rabies vaccine, because you've been attacked by an animal that you don't know if they have rabies or not, they have to inject the immunoglobulins straight into each injured area. So they had to inject, the needle was a good 1.5 or 2 inches into each little bite in my thumb. It was the most horrible pain I have ever felt. how it works, the science behind it is they do the shot in the arm for long-term protection from rabies. The immunoglobulins provide an immediate and passive immunity response. So it helps to neutralize the potential rabies that could be in my bloodstream immediately at the source. So it's something that had to be done. So this provides a very temporary protection against rabies in the injured area, and then gives the one that was shot in my arm time to work. Now, the rabies series is 4 shots within 2 weeks. You get one on day 1, day 3, day 7, and 14. So those are the long-term rabies shots. I am protected for 5 to 10 years. If I am to get bit again, it's 5 years. If not, I'm protected for 10 years. I never thought I would have to be inoculated against rabies, but here I am. So luckily, Sonny had his rabies shot in May. So all he needed was a preventative booster, which the vet said he didn't even really need, but I'm not taking any chances. Now let's get back to that being in the ER and getting the rabies shots injected right into my hand, sometimes in the bone, in the soft webbing of my hand. I could feel every part of it because I had wounds across my thumb. I am allergic to painkillers. I can't take anything. I took ibuprofen while they were injecting me, and they kept coming over saying, "Are you sure you don't want the painkillers?" And I told them what my side effects are. And they were like, "Yeah, we can't have you with these side effects such as vomiting, anaphylaxis, hives." And so they're injecting into my already injured hand with a 2-inch needle, these immunoglobulins. And there were probably about 30 shots, 20 to 30. I wasn't counting. I was screaming in pain. It was the most painful thing I have ever experienced. I felt like a prairie woman on the Oregon Trail that had accidentally gotten bit by a rattlesnake while foraging for root vegetables. And whoever was in her bandwagon actually had to, like, if I remember my stories correctly, suck the venom out of the wound. The pain was awful. But this is where my mindfulness and stress management training came in, because I knew what I was getting into. I knew that I couldn't take the painkillers. And I knew I could get through it with the breath and with the power of distraction. So I was breathing in deep, exhaling on the injection. It hurts. I'm screaming. I'm crying. My entire body is shaking. I was asking for breaks. The entire process probably took about 40 minutes. And throughout, I felt free to vent a little bit. Like, I'm pretty sure I screamed, "F you, Raccoon. I can't believe you would attack us like that." And some points I got sad, saying, "I hope Sonny's okay. I can't believe this happened to us." And then at one point, my cousin, who's sitting by my bed while the lovely nurse is helping me with these injections, my cousin starts asking the nurse about her curls in her hair. And this nurse had beautiful curly hair. And I just started wearing my hair curly, so this is new to me. And Jada and Jalissa have curly hair. So we had this amazing conversation about products and techniques. And it was the most calming part of the whole experience. And then I realized that's the power of distraction. When you are distracted from the pain and talking about something that is interesting to you, then you are a little bit removed from the experience. So I kept saying things like, "Let's talk about something else." And we would talk about something else while I was screaming and writhing in pain as she's injecting the immunoglobulins in. While I was going through this horrifying pain, in my head, I knew what was going to happen after the trauma. So when we face trauma, the immediate thing that happens to our bodies is our digestion shuts down, our reproductive system shuts down, and our immune system shuts down. That's because our body is going into fight or flight. So we want to be able to think clearly. So our pupils dilate so we can see clearly. Your heart rate increases, breathing increases, and your muscles tighten up. And that's what gives you the power to get through what it is that you have to do. So with that, there's a release of endorphins, adrenaline, and cortisol. So knowing that my immune system could potentially shut down, I could have problems with my digestion or reproductive system, I decided when I was in the ER to be proactive about that. When I got home, I made myself a cup of chamomile tea and a cup of magnesium drink. Oh, and I made them strong because I knew that I was dealing with the horrible trauma. And that's when I started to feel the exhaustion set in. So after a traumatic experience, because you've had that huge adrenaline rush, then you feel exhausted. So I decided to support myself using holistic health and neuroscience because of my neuroscience background, I knew what to expect. I put a huge bottle of water next to my bed, and I drank my chamomile and my natural calm magnesium drink. And I went to bed, and I decided not to set an alarm. I decided that Sunny and I could sleep as long as we needed to. We woke up around noon the next day, and I was in shock completely. I couldn't make decisions. I knew I needed to do the basics, like eat, shower, take the puppy outside so he could go potty. And the rest of it, I let myself stay on the couch. I let myself rest. I let myself do nothing. So for the next few days after the attack, I knew what to expect because I had gone through severe trauma. My parasympathetic nervous system is the rest and digest system. So I knew that was going to have to start kicking back in, but I had to really work to process the stress hormones that had flooded my body during all of that. I believe it was about day 2 that I felt like I'd been hit by a truck. I was sore all over. It was the craziest feeling because I was also sore and irritated from the vaccinations. I drank lots of water. I ate comfort food. I rested. Kept doing that over and over again. I would call my friends that I know that make me laugh or know that give me support, and I got the support I needed. I called family and friends to come over and help me with things because I'm right-handed. So I couldn't even do scissors. Couldn't do that motion. I couldn't open things. I kept hitting my thumb on things as well. So with that, with knowing that I can't achieve the things that I want, there's a lot of mental and emotional turmoil happening. Number one is my career. I have a massage therapy practice. I can't massage. I am exhausted. I have these vaccines being injected into me, causing a change within my body. I'm dealing with the trauma and the fear of being scared of animals. Like I saw a squirrel and went the other way for a squirrel. But man, I don't want to have to deal with a wild animal attack ever again. I would sleep for really long times. I'd rest on the couch as much as I needed. I provided my environment with things that helped me feel good. Like if I were to watch a movie, I'd watch a love story or a comedy, something that would help me feel better. And I tried to work on my stress management programs, but I was also gentle with myself, where if I knew I couldn't do something, I would stop. For nutrition, I made sure to take all my vitamins. I added in oregano oil and Echinacea tea to help boost my immune system. And I made sure to eat very healthy. I would also practice my mindfulness, my breathing meditations, just to help me stay calm, to help me process what it is that had just happened to Sunny and I. And of course, lots of cuddling with him. He is always a happy dog, and he couldn't understand being hurt, and he couldn't understand having to wear the cone either. So I'm sharing all of this information with you to normalize trauma and what it is that happens to us during and after a traumatic experience. Trauma is something that will happen to many of us at some point in our lives. And it is 100% completely normal to face a range of reactions, emotions, mental thoughts, physical pain after the traumatic experience. It's perfectly normal to face fear, anger, sadness, grief, even numbness, disassociation. Those are all completely normal human reactions to whatever it is that you are going through. But I believe that with using holistic health and neuroscience techniques, that when you know what to expect, when you know what's going to be happening within your body and your mind, that you have a little extra power over this trauma. So relying on these techniques to help yourself is really going to make sure that the immediate trauma does not become PTSD, which is a long-term effect of trauma that isn't fully processed yet. So it keeps reliving within the body. So when you relive that trauma, you get the same rush of adrenaline. You might get the same rush of emotions, whatever it is that you were feeling: sadness, anger, fear, grief. And that can be healed. It can be worked on using neuroscience, mindfulness, holistic health, whatever it is that resonates with you. When we go through trauma, our body is acting to protect us. And when we are done with the trauma, our body is still protecting us by having these natural, normal reactions to it. These are all ways of your body trying to keep you safe. So it's okay that you've gone through whatever it is that you've gone through. Everything that Sunny and I have gone through has been okay. We are managing to get through it. We are still smiling. We're still trying to see the positive side of everything. And that takes practice. If this was me 10 years ago, I would be sick as a dog right now, because my immune system would crash. I wouldn't have taken the things, my immune boosting things, and I would probably catch whatever cold or flu I came across in public. So after the traumatic experience has passed, it's so important for you to give yourself, your body, your mind, the time to process and the support that you need to handle this in a healthy and efficient way. It's important to be gentle with yourself. Healing takes time, and it's okay to take things slow. You have to give yourself permission to rest, to feel, and to heal at your own pace. You also want to affirm your self-worth so that you don't fall into the victimization mindset, because things are always going to keep happening to us, but it's up to us if we're going to act as a victim or act as a hero or act as a warrior. What choice are you going to make and how you are going to respond to these situations that have happened to you? Just keep reminding yourself that your worth is not defined by this experience or by how quickly you bounce back. It's about acknowledging your journey and taking the steps that you need so that you can heal and recover. You do the things to support your own well-being. And as you're going through this journey, please feel free to seek help. If it's not from a professional like a therapist, a counselor, or a doctor, depending on what your body or your mind is going through, seek help from a best friend, a mentor, a family member that you trust. Surround yourself with positive people that have the healthy growth mindset and ask them for support. Asking for help from your friends, family, professionals, from loved ones is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of strength. That is how you are going to get stronger. That is how you will create an environment where you feel safe, supported, and head your way back towards being healthy. If you are at a point in your life when there isn't someone you can reach out to, look in the community. There are lots of support systems out there that can help you through whatever it is you are going through. You can look at meetup groups. You can look at Facebook groups. Whatever it is that you feel, the people that you can reach for support don't necessarily have to be in your immediate world, because these days with the internet, our world is very large and you can find people online who are really willing to provide support. Trauma is something that many of us will face at some point in our lives. And it's totally okay to not be okay right now. With time, care, and support, you will heal. You are resilient, and you will find your way back to a place filled with peace and strength. Thank you for taking the time today to listen to my story and to open yourself up to learning how to handle trauma should something incredibly unfortunate like this happen to you. If you like the content, I invite you to subscribe to my channel, because I will release all sorts of stress management, holistic health, guided meditations once a week. I am so grateful that you have watched this far, and I really hope that you appreciate the content and that you are inspired to learn more. If you're interested in working with me as a stress management mentor, I am a specialist in how to handle stress with holistic health and neuroscience. So what we do is we look at how you respond to stress, and then we come up with a variety of different ways for you to react to stress in a new, healthy, empowering way. So thank you for watching. Once again, I am Jessica Kronowski with Pure Life Therapy. Oh, wait. All right. Oh, God. So thank you for watching. I am Jessica Kronowski of Pure Life Therapy, and this is Sunny. We are so happy that you've been a part of our journey in learning trauma and how to still keep living your best life despite the things that come your way.